Welcome to episode 7 of the Deep 3 podcast. I'm here with my co-host Donovan, Mojo99, and today we're going to talk about a few different things, most of which is going to be the NBA awards prediction episode. I know we've been talking about this for the last couple of weeks as we finish up our team previews, but today's the day we're going to go out there, let y'all know what we think is going to happen this season, and throughout the season, if we're wrong, y'all can hold us accountable.
You guys are not ready. I'm going 100%. I'm not missing on anything. I'm actually very confident I'm very confident about a lot of these picks.
I'm very confident that you're going to be wrong. I think I'll throw that out there.
Nah. Look, before this podcast, Isaac went ahead and rolled out a message telling us to go ahead and post our create our standings and also our predictions and shit like that for the awards. And I came in this bitch like Allen Iverson. I ain't got no practice roll. All this is gonna be free flowing, and watch me go ahead and dominate you guys. We gonna see at the end of the June.
That's a terrible strategy. I'm gonna let you know that off the top. You are gonna be very off base.
Just let everybody know, guys. I am a podcast host that is not prepared.
No. That's what I'm saying. He's just setting himself up.
Yeah, let's go. Let's run it. I'm ready, boy.
But first, we got to do what we always do at the start of the show, and we got to go over some fan hot takes.
Let's do it.
Make my ears bleed once again. Let's go.
So, as always, I got a list of NBA hot takes for you guys. Y'all let me know if these are W takes or L takes. And if y'all are first-time listeners, go ahead and comment your questions for next episode. We pick like 5 or 6 to react to every time, and there's a good chance we're going to pick yours. All right, first one. Renade Gamer says that... Renade? It's like grenade with no G. Renade Gamer says that Tatum and Jalen are a better duo than KD and Kyrie.
Yeah, that's an L take. That's an L take.
Oof.
At their peak, KD and Kyrie are an elite duo, top 2, top 3. I'm still like unsure about like the potential of Jalen and Jason is very high, but I don't think that we've seen them both mesh at the same time at their peak.
Yeah. I think it's easy to argue that the Nets duo is the best in the NBA than it is to argue that the Celtics one is better.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. This question's hard because if we're being real, Jalen and, of course, Tatum have been more productive, and Kyrie and KD have been filled with nothing but disappointments. But the idea of KD and Kyrie in general is just probably the best duo in the entire NBA.
Yeah, that's why I see the vision with the take, because like I get it. They perform this. The Nets have had a lot of personnel issues on and off the court. So I don't hate you if you'd rather take the Celtics duo.
You have to give it a W in my mind.
Oh, okay. I don't think I have to give it a W. I'm still giving it an L, but I understand it.
I don't think it's true, so it's an L take.
Yeah, I think tying your evaluation of players so strictly to results is like a nasty way to look at it because there's so much context that goes into things.
Yeah, that is true.
All right. Anyways, go to the next one. Cozy says that Jimmy Butler is a top 10 player right now.
I give that a W take. I'm not mad at it. You can't be mad at it.
I'll say W take because I see the vision behind it, but I don't personally believe it, but I see the vision. So
I don't. L take. I think he's more like he's like 12 to 15 range. Like he's close, so it's not insane, but I think we talked about this before. I think like the 9th and 10th best players right now is like Jason Tatum and Damian Lillard. I'm not picking Jimmy over either of them.
Yeah.
I mean that's fair. Like I'm not gonna like. Again, none of this is like crazy. I feel like a better way of ranking players is by tiers, and
for sure.
And so like Jimmy's probably in that tier of like can be. So
yeah, he's on the lower end of that tier. But
I put him in the top of the next tier. I think there's like I would rather have Jason Tatum than Jimmy Butler, like pretty definitively. I know people debate that one, and a lot of people will say Jimmy, and I get it, but I'd definitely rather take Tatum. I think.
Yeah,
that's interesting. Okay. I guess. Listen, from your perspective and then from our perspective, this really is coming out to just be a take. Like no W, no L, just take.
Yeah, it's definitely debatable. You can't be super passionate about it either way.
Yeah.
All right, next one. Silgo says that Hakeem Olajuwon is the best international player in NBA history. The best player not coming from the U.S.
Hakeem Olajuwon.
Trying to think of everybody.
Yeah, that's hard.
Gotta be him, right?
Yeah, it depends. It depends what you call the Virgin Islands, and if you have
that's the U.S. territory.
Okay, then yeah.
Yeah, I give it a W take. Yeah, I'm not gonna put too much thought into it. W.
I think the real it's a W take. I think the only way you could question it is if you think Giannis is gonna pass up Hakeem and get into that like top 10 range, which probably too soon to say that.
Yeah, so W take.
I'll say it.
Good job.
Too soon, my ass. I'm saying that right now.
Who said that?
I'll take
Silgo?
Me.
This guy.
That's funny. Okay, last one. Noah says that CP3 is a top 3 playmaker ever.
Top 3 is
Top
tough.
There's a lot of good playmakers out there. I feel like top 2 were definitely Magic and LeBron, and then you get into like Stockton, Steve Nash. Like the fight for third spot is pretty hard.
I think I would take CP. I think I would take CP over Steve Nash. I might go there. I might go there because I feel like Stockton and Steve, they were more products of their system rather than like drivers of it.
Yeah.
And
I'll say more so Stockton in that one.
No, I think Steve Nash is definitely the driver of his system, but I can see why you'd say that for Stockton since it's built around Karl Malone. A lot of his assists are just dumping the ball off to Karl, so I get it.
Yeah.
I'll say.
I think CP3 can have it. It's a W take.
Off the top of my head, I'll say W take.
These takes are kind of.
You know what's crazy?
These takes are good takes, but they're kind of cool.
I think right now.
You're gonna say Jokic, aren't you?
Jokic and Luka are both better playmakers right now.
I knew it.
Jokic and Luka are both better playmakers than Chris Paul right now, and Chris Paul is not like a way worse playmaker than he was in his prime. I'm not gonna say those guys are top 3 because I guess we got to see them do it for longer and longevity, but I think they're definitely both better playmakers.
Okay. So are you settling on L take since you think joke? Since you think
CP can have it. CP can be number 3 for now. Okay. But I think give a few more years to see them continue their run of dominance because CP has crazy longevity. Let Jokic and Luka both do it for like 10 years like CP has, and they're going to be in this conversation.
Okay. I'm not mad at you for that one.
That's all the hot takes I got. So I think we can go ahead and get to these award predictions.
Let's do it.
Which it took us 12 minutes to get here, so sorry to make y'all wait, but I think we should just get it over with and start with MVP.
Let's do it.
So,
I'll start. I want to start.
Who do y'all think is going to win MVP this year?
I want to start because I have thought long and hard about this, and this is going to kind of change. You'll see my reasoning later in the show, but Joel Embiid's going to be MVP this season.
Fair, right? It's solid. It's a pretty safe pick to pick the guy who finished second twice in a row.
Yeah, and so but like part of it is because of kind of the way that I feel about the Sixers, which has kind of evolved over the past couple of days. The more and more I've thought about it. But Embiid has been top 3 in the voting for the last 2 years. He was 3rd in 2020. He was runner-up last year. We've seen the trend of guys where like when they've been knocking on the door. And you have other guys who have the voter fatigue. You have Jokic who's gone back to back. He's probably not going to go 3 straight. I don't know if Giannis is going to get 3 in 4 years. And in my opinion, there's only 2 guys at the top of the list that I'm like, okay, this is like your MVP to kind of lose. That's Embiid and Luka.
Yeah, and definitely the 2 favorites.
Yeah, and so with Embiid, he's an elite scorer. Almost led the league in scoring. I think he did. It was either him or Giannis. I can't remember who finished.
It was Embiid, yeah. Him and LeBron were both, but LeBron didn't have enough play games, so went to Embiid.
Yeah, so you have a scoring leader, one of the best defenders in the league at his position. He's consistently in the top 3 of the voting. I think this is finally the year where everybody just looks at him and says, okay, like this is his year. So Embiid's my MVP.
That's kind of tough, bro.
Yeah, I understand that pick for sure. And you mentioned the vote fatigue for Jokic and everybody. I think it's definitely going to take Jokic out of the running. Mm-hmm. But I'm going to pick Giannis Antetokounmpo.
Okay.
Because the vote fatigue didn't let him get it the last 2 years. Even though he was just as good as Jokic and like could have arguably done it, it's just nobody wants to give it to him. And Jokic was an anomaly. Now there's been enough time off, and the Bucks are going to be dominant again. I can definitely see Giannis getting back into this mix where it's been long enough that since he hasn't won it, and the people are going to be willing to give him again.
That's fair.
I like this conversation.
I like that pick as well. Giannis is definitely in my top 4. Like preseason MVP voting. I don't know. Right now, MVP is such like narrative driven to the point where like mid-season they were trying to throw Devin Booker in there. You're trying to throw DeMar DeRozan in there. Like it's such a narrative type of award that I don't know if just the sheer dominance of Giannis and the Bucks is going to be enough.
And I think the narrative for him is that we know he's the best player in the world. He's been the best player even when Jokic is winning it. Mm-hmm. It's been enough time since he hasn't won it. It's criminal if he doesn't win it eventually again. So people are going to be like, I feel comfortable stamping him as his best player in the world and letting him win it for a 3rd time.
while it is criminal for Giannis to only walk away with potentially 2 MVPs at the end of his career, which I think is not going to happen, I think it'll be even more criminal for Joel Embiid to not even win a single one in his career. And
True.
Ironically enough, like, those were my top 2 picks, and I was leaning towards Joel Embiid because of the way the 76ers are set up. I think they're going to be a fantastic, like, probably the best team in the NBA. I'm just going to go ahead and say it. They're going to lead they're going to have the best record in the entire NBA. Just because, heads up, I don't have Doc Rivers as my coach of the year, though. Even though that most likely is the case, I'm not going to have Doc Rivers as the coach, bro. He still has, like, the stink bug to him and attached shit like that. But anyways,
if they win, it's not because Doc Rivers.
Yeah, no, hell no. MVP has to go to Joel Embiid in my mind because he's been so close. He's gotten so much better as a big man / you could say damn near guard now with the way he's fucking breaking down his defenders, bro. And I just think the team is this is the best Joel Embiid led team that he's ever had. Everything is catered towards him. He has his primary ball handler, James Harden, Tyrese Maxey, who plays off the ball damn near perfectly. He got PJ Tucker by his side, who's going to do all the nasty, dirty work. You don't have to go ahead and his team is not going to be absolutely killed because the bench is a good amount better. They got DeAnthony Melton, Montrezl Harrell. I just love this team. As
you should. They're going to be fantastic.
Yeah. Exactly. So, like,
there's no chance that any of us have them outside of our top 3 seeds.
Yeah, exactly. And I think this is just finally the year where people just have to give it to him. And I think other people's circumstances are a little bit worse, and that helps Joel Embiid's case because no one's gonna give. I'm sorry. Unless Nikola Jokic goes ahead and wins like 70 games, he's not winning MVP for the 3rd straight year. They don't want to give it to him, bro. They barely wanted to give it to him back-to-back years. They barely wanted to give him the first time, you know what I'm saying? I don't think Steph Curry's going to go off. Kawhi Leonard and MVP don't sound right in the same conversation, bro. Like, and as for Giannis, voter fatigue's a real thing, and I still think that people might be slightly hesitant to go ahead and give it to him. But your argument was very valid.
The problem with the Joel Embiid pick is obviously it's a good pick, but what if James Harden comes back and he's looking great again, and he's not MVP form, but he's like all NBA fantastic form again? Maybe we'll get the situation like we have the Warriors where having 2 of the best players alive just takes away from each other and neither one of them can win. I think it's a very real possibility.
Okay, but that's having Steph Curry and KD in 2017. It's much different than having even a good James Harden than having James Harden and Joel Embiid right now. So like I
guess I mean it's like, still like I mean I use that example, but it's not the only instance we've seen teams that are too good to have an MVP winner. Like we've had plenty of instances where the stars take away from each other because maybe people were like, oh, I'd give him the vote, but I'd also give the other guy the vote. Like it's not an exclusively Warriors thing.
Outside of the Warriors, give me an example. Because off the top of my head, I can't remember. I can't remember in recent history something like that happening.
We gotta think. I mean, I don't know exactly, but people talk about it all the time. I'm not necessarily saying that's been like we can point to a single year where that's directly happened, but you know what I'm talking about. People use it all the time.
Yeah, but I feel like the main causes of that was the Warriors, was the fact that like you have 2 top 5 players on your team, and so like I can't do that. Even when the Nets were actually not. I'll take that back because the Nets have been a mess.
I was thinking about them. That's a hard example because maybe the first year when they were formed, when they were at their peak of their powers and people thought they were going to be running through titles, nobody was going to give KD the MVP because he has James Harden and Kyrie, even if he would have been good enough. Like that's a perfect example. Like it happens that way.
I think okay. Even aside from Joel, the one person that none of us mentioned that I think is obviously like I kind of mentioned it, but like Luka.
Yeah, I can tell you why I'm not picking Luka.
The knock on Luka has always been he comes into camp fat and he plays his way into shape throughout the season, and that's why like second half of the season Luka is just god tier, and so if he could do that over 82 games, then he could do that. If the Eurobasket stuff that he was doing in the offseason was real, and now he's in shape coming into camp, like are you guys at all thinking about Luka potentially being the MVP now that he's gonna have the body type that he needs to sustain 82 games at that level?
I'll let you go first, Mohammed.
No, I don't think Luka's gonna go ahead and get it because there's like 3 things that factor into the MVP conversation is like narrative, the numbers, and how much you win. And Luka's probably gonna have I don't really think there's going to be a real narrative for him.
I think the narrative
He's going to have the numbers.
is very
There's a strong narrative. He's a favorite right now.
Luka has been, people have been trying to hand Luka the award for the last 3 years.
He's the betting favorite.
Yeah, you're right. That is hella true. I'm tripping on that one. So he has the narrative. He's gonna have the numbers, but he's definitely not gonna have the wins just because I think
that's where I'm going to.
Yeah, exactly. The wins are just not gonna be there, bro. You're telling me he's gonna have a better record. He has to go ahead and outperform the Nuggets, the Clippers, the Warriors, the Pelicans, the T-Wolves, potentially the Phoenix Suns. Like
he doesn't. No, he doesn't. He doesn't have to.
What seed does he have to be?
He doesn't. I think Luka only has to make it to the 4 seed. If you have Luka type numbers and he's the only person on his team that's like that, you only have to make it to the 4 seed, possibly 5th seed. Jokic has won it at the 6th seed for the last 2 years.
Definitely
right?
Crazy.
But see,
that's crazy.
I don't even know. Yeah, he could win this, but the thing is, Jokic won the 6th seed, but he also put up one of the best offensive seasons of all time. Like, no exaggeration. Like, what he did, he was the best, most highly efficient scorer in the NBA at a high volume while being a top tier passer. Like, you could say Luka could do the same thing, but
Luka is an amazing passer, and he's an amazing scorer. And in terms of like no help, it's not his situation in Dallas is going to be a little bit better than what Jokic had in Denver. But at the same time, there's nobody else on his team. Like it's going to be him, Spencer Dinwiddie, and Christian Wood. Like that. Like what type of stupid NBA 2K blacktop team is that? Like it's not a legitimate big 3.
So I see what you mean. I understand why he's the betting favorite for the reasons you said. People were saying he could do what Jokic did, and him being in shape now is a big part of that. But I think their team's not going to be good enough, and that's the case because I think last year they probably overachieved a lot. They had a top 10 defense despite having bad defensive talent that we thought was going to be a mediocre to subpar defense, and they kind of just like pieced it together and made it work. I don't know if that's sustainable. And they have to be playing like above their range. Dorian Finney-Smith defending his ass off. Somehow then piecing together great rim protection with Maxi Kleber. But now they're going to be giving minutes to more Tim Hardaway Jr. minutes and Christian Wood, who aren't good defenders. So I don't know if they're going to be able to get to that place. And without that good defense, they're not going to be a top 6 team.
We could see them. We can see them do what they did in the Western Conference Finals. And listen, I don't even know why we're like stuck on Luka right now. I'm capping for him, even though he's not.
It's a good thing to talk about. He's
even though he's not my pick. But I think that Luka and the Mavs, if they get to a point where they see that defense isn't working, they straight in the Western Conference Finals was like, we're just gonna jack up 3. Like we're gonna play the numbers, and we're gonna play the numbers. We're gonna give Luka the ball. We're gonna let him drive and kick all day long, and that's how our offense is going to roll. In the regular season, you can do that a lot more successfully than you can in the postseason. And so if that ends up being your offensive system by like mid-November, and you have a long way to kind of run through that, you can have a lot of success, especially in the regular season when you're putting up threes at volume, and the person who's driving and kicking and getting to the rim is Luka.
They're going to be fantastic in that way.
Historical usage rate ever, bro.
I see what you mean, and I understand the argument for that. I just think what it comes down to that, let's say the other 2 candidates are Joel and Giannis. Their numbers are going to be just as good as Luka's, and then you factor in the fact that they're elite defenders, more so Giannis, and the team's success. Like even if the best case scenario happens and the Mavs are this team that we saw in the Western Conference Finals last year, or in the road to that, and they're clicking all cylinders, Luka's healthy all year, they're still not going to be a better team than the 76ers or the Bucks.
Donovan got me. You got me when you said Joel Embiid and Giannis are going to put up just as good numbers as Luka. Like, what if Luka comes up to the season and puts up a 30-point triple-double? Averages a 30-point triple-double. He could do that. I think he's capable of that.
He's not going to have... He already had it. We're talking about like he's going to hit a new level because there's no help now. The only difference is that Jalen Brunson's shots are going to go to Dinwiddie and the rookie, what's his name? Who's that guy?
Hardy.
Yes.
Hardy.
Yeah, Hardy. So like they're just going to be redistributed. Last year in the playoffs, Brunson was great, and look, that's how they got to the Western Conference Finals. But in the regular season, Brunson wasn't some enigma. They didn't drop off that much.
No, but outside of that, I think the biggest fact and the biggest like point that I want to make for Luka is the fact that he plays his way into shape throughout the season. Yeah. And there's a whole 2.5 month stretch where he's not at his best. But then once he gets going, everybody looks at Luka and it's like, oh my God, like this might be the best player in the league. And if he starts like that, from week 1 to week 2, and we say, oh wow, like Luka's he's come into camp in shape. Look what he's doing. Like that's where my point for Luka comes in, is that
that's a good point too, because
that he can have
narratives
this
are really formed
season
in the first month too.
Yeah,
the narratives are formed really early, and people kind of take that, and you have to like lose it. Like Steph won the MVP in the first month, and then he went on that cold streak and lost it. If he was just like normal Steph, he would have won the MVP. Exactly. So if you're saying that and you think Luka's gonna come off firing, then for sure I can see the pick. That makes sense.
And I think after 3 years of everybody really just trying to force like the Luka MVP thing to happen, and he just hasn't delivered like that. If he gives anybody just an inkling that like he's reached that level and that he like looks like the MVP, it's his to lose from the first like 2 months if he comes out like that.
Makes sense. I think you should change your pick to Luka. That's what I'm hearing.
No,
yeah, exactly. You damn correct. You know, I mean, convince me to go ahead and pick.
No, I still think.
Fuck it, Luka's winning MVP. I'm here.
Listen, you can really take him. I still think Embiid is gonna win. I don't think it's gonna be like a landslide, but it definitely will be something where I'll say by like the last month or so we kind of know like, okay, like if there was a Sixers Mavs game in like the start of April, we're not going to go into that with like, oh, well, this is the swing game for the MVP. Like, it's going to be like, oh, yeah, Luka has to drop 100 in this game against Embiid to win the MVP.
I get it. All right, well, we spent a lot of time on the MVP. I think these are all really good picks. None of these would be surprising. Let's move on to Defensive Player of the Year. Who do y'all think is going to win Defensive Player of the Year this year?
I'm going to go ahead and slap on Rudy Gobert for that simply because new team, and I think that Rudy, bro, I didn't even really acknowledge this, but the damn Timberwolves had like a top 13 defense in the NBA or top 11, one of those two. And if you add a generational paint protector, rim protector like Rudy, that's just like you're just a lock to elevate on all levels on the basketball court as a whole, bro. Just naturally, you know.
For sure, it's a good pick.
And yeah, I just got Rudy for all the right reasons. Now the only thing that really scares me is like Karl-Anthony Towns, a big slow ass running around the perimeter, chasing around, but like that's super scary. That's just an ungodly sight to see.
But if Rudy's behind him to help him out when he gets blown by, I think they'll be okay.
Exactly. So I got Rudy Gobert. Cat is gonna make Rudy look like a god. Period.
Yeah, that's a really good pick. I thought about going that way for the same reason. People are going to have like the narrative that Rudy's finally out of Utah. They're going to be winning a lot of games. They're going to be like, look what Rudy can do with the right system, with the better players around him, whatever. I can see that happening. I'm personally going to go to the Miami Heat and pick Bam Adebayo.
Wow, that was my second pick.
I think last year, a lot of people, including me, were upset he wasn't even top 3. And now I think they're going to have just as good of a defense, still be top 5. But they also lost PJ Tucker, which is going to give Bam that narrative boost to say, oh, he did this without his second best defensive player. So I'm going with him.
That is a great pick, Isaac, because it's the exact same pick that I'm making. I'm taking Bam for DPOY because for everything that you said, and like Mo, you said the Timberwolves were top they were 13th in the league in defensive rating last year. Miami was 4th in defensive rating of the year. We had a really weird year where Marcus Smart ends up getting Defensive Player of the Year. And I don't think anybody really like considers Marcus Smart the best defensive player. And
I don't know about that one.
Nobody considers him the best defensive guard. I think a lot of people still consider Drew Holiday to be a better defensive guard. But you talk about Bam. They are going to put so much on his plate just as a player, offensively and defensively. And he is going to be one of the most versatile defenders in the league this year. He's going to be switching, guarding guards, guarding bigs, and just on a nightly basis, especially in the East, where there's just going to be so much firepower, and he just has so much to do on a nightly basis. I think Bam ends up jumping into the top 3 and getting it.
Yeah, you're speaking my language. It's just the narrative's so perfect with what's his name leaving, PJ Tucker.
Yeah,
like that's the exact type of thing you need to be like, oh, they're still elite. He deserved it last year. He wasn't even in the voting. Like, it's set up perfectly. But I also agree it's set up perfectly for Gobert, so I think that's also a great pick.
Yeah, it's very funny. I think the DPOY, it's such big man centric, and like
as it should be.
Yeah, it makes sense, right? Because like if you're the anchor of a defense, like that provides more value than if you're like locking somebody down on the perimeter. But do you think that Drew Holiday can maybe jump in there at all?
No.
So who's your top 3 then?
Okay, so
he wants to be in there before Drew Holiday.
Yeah. I think Giannis is kind of a lock to always be top 3. Like, was he top 3 last year?
I will check that.
Yeah, I think the safe pick is Giannis. Like, the guard won it last year because the Celtics had such an enigma of a defense, and people were kind of like, there was a media campaign to like finally give it to a guard because it's too big man centric. And the bag Twitter guys that are like, oh, bigs are overrated, give it to the guy who can lock on the perimeter. Like, they got what they wanted, and Marcus won one. But the reality is, bigs are far more impactful for a reason. Just because affecting shots on the rim, you can do more than you can being on the perimeter. So we're gonna go back to seeing bigs win.
So this is very funny. So Rudy was 3rd in voting. And Giannis was 6th. So Marcus Smart was 1st. Mikal Bridges ended up
Bridges
second.
Is a good pick.
And
Bridges isn't going to win it, but he's a good top 3 pick.
So it was Smart, Bridges, Gobert, Bam, Jaren Jackson Jr., and then Giannis at 6.
Yeah, I forgot. Giannis didn't make it because their defense wasn't quite as good because Brook Lopez was out the whole year. So Giannis kind of had to be the anchor instead of being the weak side defender that he usually is. But now he's going to go back to being his normal role where he's a monster and insanely impactful.
Yeah.
But I can see Bridges being top 3. It wouldn't surprise me.
What's the next award?
I think especially, and this will be the last thing that we say on this, but I think especially like now that we're moving backwards, so it's like, okay, we're gonna give the award to the guard, and then it's like, all right, well, a wing has to get it now, and then slowly work our way back up to the big.
Yeah, that's the annoying part. Like, it's gonna be like all that. After last year started as Firestorm, it's gonna be like, perimeter play won last year. Why shouldn't they always be in the top 3? And we're just gonna see that like virtue signaling voting. Yeah.
All right,
anyways, I'm glad we can agree on the top 2.
Yeah. What's next?
Next one, Rookie of the Year. Who do y'all think is gonna win NBA Rookie of the Year?
I have long.
I'll say it first. Obviously, I'm going Paolo Banchero. I think you're going somewhere else though.
Yeah. So you're going Paolo. I'm going with Keegan Murray.
It's a good pick. You can't go wrong.
I've long slandered the Kings. This is going to be the one thing that I give them this year. But I think that the Kings, offensively, like they're going to get up and down the floor, and I think that there's going to be a lot of opportunities for Keegan to flourish offensively. This
is the most positive I've heard him talk about the Kings in my entire life.
Listen,
most he's ever done in his life.
Listen, I'm glad that we have this on video because we can just run this back for the next 6 months.
The last time.
I'm not praising them anymore. I can't stand the Kings. They're so inept. But yeah, I think Keegan's gonna have a lot of opportunities to be successful. And now that you've kind of like he's in that core with Fox and Sabonis and Murray, like they are kind of planning on those 3, pushing them into the play-in and where they want to be. And you saw, obviously, like I don't want to overreact to Summer League, but he looked really, really just like ready.
Yeah, he's really good right away. I wouldn't. It's not overreaction. Yeah,
he's a finished
product. He looked ready. So I'm gonna go with Keegan.
Yeah, for sure.
What about you?
When it comes to Rookie of the Year, if you look at all the past Rookie of the Year winners, you find a formula and you come to find out that, it's basically strictly like a numbers game. Wins, they help, they're cool and all that, but people really don't give a fuck about none of that, if we're being completely honest.
Yeah.
And I genuinely do not see a world where Keegan Murray is going to put up more shots than Paolo Banchero. That's just not going to happen, bro. De'Aaron Fox is going to be putting up shots. Domantas Sabonis is going to be putting up shots. Kevin Huerter going to be they have a lot of options, and I don't know how Keegan Murray aligns that pecking order, but that's not a bad choice. I just think that Paolo Banchero is just the most safe choice because there's not a lot of options on the Orlando Magic, and they're still looking for someone to be that guy. And so far, Paolo Banchero, he should be looked at as that guy, at least for now.
Yeah. Yeah, I think I wouldn't be shocked if Keegan was the more impactful player and a better player overall in year 1. I could see that being the case because he's older. But like you said, as a numbers game, and Paolo's going to have the usage, and he's already you could say maybe he's still going to be better even though he's so much younger. He's incredibly good. The way he moves with the ball in his hands at that size is ridiculous. He's going to be an elite, not elite. He's going to be a high level scorer from day 1, and that's going to translate to an easy 20 points per game.
I would say this though. So Scotty and Evan Mobley finished 1 and 2 in the voting last year. The 2 guys behind them, Cade Cunningham and Jalen Green, both averaged more points. Cade Cunningham was the Pistons' offense, right? He's the facilitator there, and so even if you have a guy who is the center of the offense, I don't think you can immediately dismiss somebody for Keegan. And I know that you guys aren't doing that, but I'm saying that's why I'm not as worried that Keegan isn't going to be the focal point of the offense, because if you do enough things, you can be there.
in this case, that happened because one, Jalen Green was awful to start the year and had a good second half of the season, but he was never going to fucking win. And Cade also started kind of slow. Like, he picked up as the year went on, but he started super slow, like, for his standards as number one pick. Mobley was an enigma from day one. He was an elite, like, straight up elite defender as a rookie, and on a team that was, like, making huge strides into be, like, a top 4 playoff team before they got injured. So he was a lock. The only reason that Scottie came up at the end is because he was, like, super consistent throughout the whole year, and he was also on a winning team. One. Yeah, so, like, he had the combination of the numbers and being on a winning team. So, I don't know if Keegan's going to have that winning team to hold him up.
Probably not. But honestly, I really don't think that, like, the winning... I don't think anybody... When it comes to rookies, I really don't think that anybody cares about
it. It did last year, though. It mattered for sure last year because both those guys were contributors on playoff teams from day one. Like, normally it doesn't matter because normally that doesn't happen. But we happen to see two of the players that were the best rookies also be playoff contenders. So, like, it worked out that way. But if it's there, it's definitely going to help.
Yeah,
I think the fact that a big part also is who plays the most games, right? Out of these guys, Scottie played 74 games last year. Mobley,
that's why he won.
Mobley missed some time and Cunningham missed some time. If Keegan can be on the floor, I think as a rookie, like that's really one of the best things that you can do. Just be there and show up. And so whoever, honestly, like that's probably a big, maybe not a bigger, but it's a very, very like key thing that we should keep an eye on.
Be real. Does anyone want to give anything to the Sacramento Kings? Like, is anybody gonna be? Really
Tyreek Evans won Rookie of the Year one time.
Bro, you were 9 years old when that happened, bro. You're like 8, 9 years
so
old.
So I can't study history? Like,
you can't study history, but bro, it's like no one cares about them anymore like that, bro. I don't think that's gonna happen.
Maybe that's the reason people want to give it to him. Like, oh, they finally have hope. Keegan Murray's balling out, 19 points per game.
Yeah. 19.
These are definitely the top 2 picks though. So like I don't hate the Keegan pick. I just feel pretty confident that Paolo is gonna like prove himself to be like future top 10 player, elite player of the elite right away. So I feel like it's gonna be like one of those things where like right away people are like, oh, he's him, he's gonna win, and that narrative's not going anywhere.
That's fair. Yeah. That's fair. Again, I really don't feel like
if we all just said Paolo, it'd be kind of boring.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, but I don't feel like any one of us on any of our picks have just been like off the wall yet. We'll see once we start getting the 6th man of the year and most improved. I want to see what you guys think about my pick.
Oh, I forgot most improved player. Okay.
Well, I got most improved in the bag.
Okay, well let's talk about Coach of the Year first. That should be a quick one. Who is going to win NBA Coach of the Year?
I got Ty Lue. Ty Lue simply because like hopefully all these guys are gonna. It's either gonna be I put Ty Lue / Mike Malone. I have basically the same argument for both of these coaches. Obviously, one of the best coaches, top 5, top 10 coaches in the entire NBA, and finally they have all the talent in line, and it's just in time for them to go ahead and rack up this award. For Mike Malone, I believe another award.
Those are good picks. I'm gonna go with a name you're probably not thinking about. I'm gonna go Joe Mazzulla, the Celtics interim coach.
Okay.
I think that they're going to
be crazy.
The one thing that concerns me is not having Robert Williams for the start of the season, but I think they're going to be just as good as last year, still a top 2-3 seed, and you're going to have the narrative that you have this turmoil if you don't have their coach, and the new guy comes in and he's just like elite, keeps them where they are all year. I think that's an easy win. It's kind of like what Luke Walton did, where he went like 25-0 or whatever it was whenever Steve Kerr was out, but for a whole season.
Okay.
Damn, okay. That's tough, bro. That's tough. I like that. The only reason why I'm not flying with that, and my standings will show or reflect that, is because Rob Williams is so important to that defense, bro. So I like that pick. You're hella bold for that, but just move. What you got, Donovan?
So this is really weird. But I don't know if you can win it from here. But I kind of like Willie Green.
I love that. I love
the Pelicans. I love that. I think that the Pelicans have a really high seed. Like if everything clicks, New Orleans can really, really go some places, and you can have this like progression of we were at the number 1 pick in the draft and we made the playoffs last year. We were in the play-in and fought really hard to get to the playoffs. We pushed the Suns to 6 games. Like there's now that we get our star player back, we're gonna go even further, right? We're gonna win more games. There's a real progression for them there. So I think that if Zion is there and he can stay healthy, and they won 36 games last year. You get them a couple games over 500, and you get them an 8-game increase in a tough Western Conference. I think the narrative is there for Willie Green to be at the top of the list.
I love that pick.
I can see that. I like that pick for sure.
Yeah. That's my cut to you. I like the Ty Lue pick a lot though, because the Clippers definitely have obviously they didn't have Paul George or Kawhi for a lot of games last year, and they still ended up with a very good record. Should have, well, I guess they were the 8 seed, lost in the play-in, yada yada yada. But you see what Ty Lue's able to do on a nightly basis with just mid guys and bring them up. Now that he's gonna have stars, the Clippers should be at the top of the conference. Yeah,
he's the top 3 coach in terms of just X's and O's. So he deserves one. I don't know why he hasn't gotten one yet. So I kind of hope you're right with that.
Yeah, he hasn't got one because he was coaching LeBron.
I was just about to say that.
I mean, now he's coaching one of the deepest roster in the league. So maybe hopefully that doesn't hurt him either.
I don't think it should, bro. I don't think it should. You could easily have one of the deepest rosters. You could theoretically have one of the best rosters on the team in the entire NBA. But that doesn't mean anything if you don't do little things like keep egos in check and make sure you put these players in the best positions possible to win, and all these other things. And another just random side note and tangent that I'm just so happy, bro. John Wall has been looking nice in the preseason. There was a very real world where we all thought, well, at least not all, but in the back of our minds, I don't think any of us really expected anything too much out of John Wall. You know what I'm saying? For the top,
I did.
Really? Wow, you expected a lot out of him?
Not a lot, but a decent amount. I have not been looking at John Wall as some completely washed up player. I actually thought that was a.
I have.
And so if you ask Isaac about the John Wall signing, he's gonna be like, who cares? He's too. He's too. You're saying listen, he's 2-3 years washed. He's gonna play 15 minutes a night or this and that. I'm expecting a little bit more from John Wall than that, and I think that he will make a significant impact, and he'll probably be in the finishing lineup for the Clippers at the end of the year.
I was in a way I thought he to fit is so good that they'd get the most out of him. So I was like, okay, that's a good signing, good depth there. That he's just a role player that fits that really well. But I wasn't he's gonna make them unstoppable. He's gonna come in and really unlock their playmaking they've always needed. I was like, that's cool if it works out well. It works out well. But it's good to see the early signs are looking well.
Listen, he's not gang sign John Wall, the deepest bag John Wall, but he is Dougieing again. He is dancing again, and so you have one of his alter egos that is back. So I think John Wall has a bright future ahead of him.
I've been itching to hear Isaac's pick.
For what?
Coach of the year.
He said Joe Mazzulla.
Joe Mazzulla.
Oh, I forgot about that.
Where you been?
Bro. Yo, I told you before this podcast I was asleep, bro.
Short-term memory loss.
Bro,
it's crazy.
You thought I was lying? What is this? This is literally an eye mask, bro. I had this next to me. Swear to God. Yeah, that's absolutely.
Okay, well, let's go ahead and get some most improved player. Who do y'all think is going to win most improved player this year?
Let me go ahead and
take
the stage real quick.
Let me go first.
No.
Tyrese Halliburton.
Oh, that's not nasty, but I think my pick is better. Why do you say Tyrese?
Because he's going to have hella usage. And in the games we had in the last season when he got to Indiana, he was averaging 22 and 9. It was a huge jump. Mm-hmm. If he finally gets that usage for a whole season without De'Aaron Fox, plus a year of development, he's going to put up stupid numbers.
Yeah, okay. I like that.
Who you got?
For me, I got another New York Knick. A couple years ago, it was Julius Randle. This year, I'm going to go ahead and say Jalen Brunson. Jalen Brunson. And one thing that I could easily say to just to go ahead and demolish your... That's nasty? What? Yeah. That's nasty?
I'm not picking Jalen in my top 3.
It's kind of nasty.
Wow, you're a Knicks fan. Out of everyone, were you the one who was saying it's nasty? Bro, you're nasty for that, actually.
I thought you were going to say RJ Barrett. I didn't expect Jalen Brunson.
No. Jalen Brunson.
Yeah, bro, I got to pick Jalen Brunson. One thing that I have to say is that, when it comes to the president that has been set for the MIP. Did I say that right? I probably didn't right.
The precedent.
Yeah, president. Yeah, whatever. What's been set for the MIP award over the past, I'm just going to say year with John Morant winning it. I hate that he won it. I don't think he deserved it. You could say he deserved it, but I don't think it was right for him. You know what I'm saying? The true meaning of that, in my mind at least, is when you see a crazy jump from a player just kind of out of nowhere. A lot of NBA fans who are in the trenches like us could see it. That's why I think Tyrese Halliburton is a tremendous pick, but I think Jalen Brunson is probably a better pick. Yeah, you good. I think Jalen Brunson is probably even a better pick because I think Jalen's going to be on a better team. I don't think it's really that debatable to say that, or crazy to say that the Knicks are going to be much better than the Indiana Pacers. Now, Tyrese is probably going to have a better stats because he's just overall a much better player than Tyrese. But that's just my take, bro. What's yours?
Okay.
What do you think on that, actually? Let me get your opinion.
Yeah. Okay, so when it gets to the Jalen thing, the reason why I'm saying it's nasty is because a lot of times these goes to, like, young players, right? But, like, we see guys in their second or third year trying to make that leap into all-star.
It shouldn't, though.
Or no, but you're talking about, like, the precedent and what it was, especially after Ja. A lot of people didn't even think that Ja deserved it because it's like, hey, this is a guy who, like, he was an all-star.
He's gonna win MVP. Yeah,
that's what I'm saying. Like he was an all-star last year. We already know that he's the face of a franchise. Why are we giving him most improved when we know good and well that, like, that's not what we're here to do, right? So I think when you talk about a guy like Jalen, we're trying to give this award to 20, 21-year-olds. Jalen's 26. That's a grown man, dude. He doesn't deserve it. He just got $100 million, right? Like you're not giving most improved to a guy who just got the bag. That's not what it's about. And also,
that's what happened with Julius Randle, is it not?
Julius Randle.
Yeah, that is a good comparison, honestly.
If Jalen Brunson goes to second team All NBA, listen, you got me, right? If he does that, if he does that, listen, I apologize, and you saw something that I didn't. But last year, he shot 50% from the field and 37% from three. Do you think that he's going to shoot 50% again from the field? Right?
Yes, but I think he's going to shoot better than that? No.
No, better than that, but I think he should put up better counting stats, points.
Even if he does, if you apply that to, like, 36 minutes per game and, like, give him the usage, it's going to be like 22 points and 7.5 assists. That's not second team All NBA.
If he brings the Knicks to the playoffs, 8th seed, I think that'll get him through the door.
Maybe, but you got to think there's also every year there's young players that make the star leap and people want to give it to them. So for Jalen Brunson to be like Julius Randle, it would have to be like above and beyond. You can't deny it. Julius Randle was arguably the second best power forward in the league that year. Like, he was at the point where it was like, you got to give it to him. He's so good. Like, he's got a star now. I don't know if we're going to see it leap from Jalen Brunson just because he gets them to the playoffs.
And Randle was able to do that because there was no other, like, credible. Well, okay, I'm a disrespect.
And he just
I'm a
became a jump
RJ.
shot god.
I'm a disrespect RJ here, but, like, there was no other credible, offensive option on that team, and that's a team that overperformed like crazy, right? Because their defense was just off the chart, and Tibbs had them buy in for a year. But like Isaac said, if Jalen Brunson is going to make every single turnaround jumper, if he's going to shoot 40% from three, if he's going to continue shooting 50% from the field, then okay, sure. If he's going to be one of the 4 best guards in the league, by all means, Mo, you got it. That's not happening.
You're making me look like sound like a lunatic with that.
No, I mean, it was a crazy pick. So, like,
that's a crazy. It's not crazy.
It's not crazy. I see why you say that. I see where the logic comes from. There's reasons why I'm definitely not going to predict that, but I definitely see where your head's at.
Yeah. Okay. Now that I've done get on Mo, I'm going with Josh Giddey for my pick. I think that Josh Giddey, last season, and the jump that he can make with a Thunder team that is still going to be kind of, I guess, vying for guys to play. Shea's going to start the season a little bit hurt. Yeah. Chet's not there. And you have Giddey, who is a really good passer. He can rebound. He last season, he didn't shoot well, right? He only shot 42% from the field. He shot 26% from three. If he becomes just a little bit better, right? If that 42 goes to 45 or that 26 goes to 30, and now you're talking about instead of 12 points a game, he's at 16, maybe 16 and a half, along with the other things that he's doing, I think that there's a jump to be made for Giddey. So that's why I'm going to take him as my pick.
I like that. I think we're not going to see second-year players win it all the time like we did with Ja. Like, Ja was such a special circumstance because he became one of the most electrifying, arguably one of the best players in the NBA. So I think it's going to be hard to break that second-year precedent for Giddey. But I see it. He's going to make that type of leap. I agree with you.
I think that pick is even nastier than what you said about me with Jalen Brunson. Bro.
What?
Crazy.
No, it's not.
Yeah, that's
How?
even
That's
worse.
right.
How?
Do you think Josh
Be
Giddey
real,
asked
Isaac.
for some
That's
reason?
even
I don't
worse.
know what.
Let's be real.
No, it's not.
Who? So you think Josh Giddey has a better chance of winning it than Jalen Brunson?
Yes. What are we talking about? Yes.
This is a mid-off for real. I don't know. Like, either one of them going to win it, but I think so. Yeah, I think Giddey's would be more deserving than Jalen Brunson would.
He's a second-year player.
Your guy's 26, and you're trying to give him most improved, bro.
How old was Julius Randle when he won it?
Bro,
Julius Randle is a special case because he became second-team All-NBA. How many times do we got to say it?
That's what I'm saying. Is Jalen Brunson going to be one of the 4 best guards in basketball next year?
No.
I know that's a tough predicament you're putting me on.
No. You're saying all that stuff. That's a yes or no question. Yes or no? Is he going to be one of the 4 best?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not.
Then the precedent of the jump that Julius Randle made is not there anymore.
Bro, you're putting me in a nasty debacle right now.
Because you made a nasty pick.
No, that's
you did
not
this to yourself.
Your pick is so much worse. What are you talking about?
Okay.
Josh Giddey, are you serious right now?
Okay.
What is his counting stats going to look like for him to win Most Improved Player of the Year? What is it going to look like? 17? Tell me Josh is going to be 17?
17-10. Yeah, he got over 17-10. Why do you think Josh Giddey's so bad? Just like the second time you said this. Josh Giddey's really good.
He's good. I would love to have a player like him on my team, but
Josh Giddey again.
I don't think he's him. That's my
Josh Giddey last year, just straight counting stats, averaged 12.5 points, 7.8 rebounds, 6.4 assists, 0.9 steals. If he gets that up to 17 to 6, we'll go 16.5 points, 2 more buckets a game. 16.5 points, 8.1 rebounds, 7 assists, and 1 steal. Tell me that's not like a most improved stat line. Tell me you can't see the vision.
On a 27-win team with like mid efficiency, bro, Jalen Brunson's running away with that compared to that stat line, bro. I'm sorry.
Neither one of them are going to win it because Tyrese Halliburton's going to win it. Maybe Jordan Poole. Y'all have a mid-off.
Yeah, this is a mid-off right now. I ain't gonna lie, this is disgusting.
You're not going to disrespect Josh Giddey like that. You're not going to disrespect Josh Giddey like that.
You're crazy for this.
No, he's not going to win it. You're right because he's a second-year player. That's not going to happen unless he became an all-star. So, whatever.
Isaac, just for the sake of my pride, if you were to bet money on it, who would you rather place your bets on? Giddey or
I'd rather throw my money into a wishing well. I don't know. I guess I'd pick Brunson because a second-year player is not going to win it, but I would fucking hate that pick. I'd never expecting to see that money again.
I'm done. All right, cool. I feel better now. Let's go.
Who's going to win? Who's going to win Sixth Man of the Year this year?
I'm taking Malcolm Brogdon.
That's a great pick.
I'm taking Malcolm Brogdon.
I forgot about Malcolm Brogdon. I wrote down Jordan Poole, but I think I might pick Malcolm Brogdon now that you mentioned it.
Yes,
sir. This is gonna be the lamest conversation ever because I'm like, yo, I don't know if you guys remember this, but whenever we tend to talk about the Celtics, I always talk to you guys about, yo, you gotta remember Malcolm Brogdon. He's there. Last time we seen him healthy, he was playing like, I may be tripping, but something near along the lines of 20-7 or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Something like that.
And he's crazy efficient. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. He's crazy efficient. He's a great defender. You know what I'm saying? He could be the facilitator that the Celtics have been looking for. Could be playing a part of closing lineups, things of that nature. And I just love him on this team, bro. I love him as a player.
Yeah.
I hated when the Bucks got rid of him. I hated it. Especially
wait. So you're on Brogdon as well, and we're making a clean sweep.
Clean sweep.
Sweep.
Love it.
I mean, this was easy. I think like this is like a near lock, especially because Tyler Hero might start. There's a lot of chatter about that. It's like Malcolm Brogdon's clearly the best sixth man in terms of like caliber of player that's currently coming off the bench. I still think Jordan Poole has some validity there if you think he's going to make that leap, especially because like what we saw in the playoffs last year, there's a big like hype around him. People are thinking he's like star in the making. So you can see the narrative being there, especially if the Celtics are like, I mean, the Warriors are top tier again.
Yeah.
But you got to go with Brogdon. Like we already know what he's going to be.
If he's healthy, he's in. And Mo, you talked about his numbers. The last time I have him up right here. So the last time he was out on the floor last year, he finished 19.1 points per game, 5.9 assists, 5 rebounds per game, and he did it while shooting. Dang, and that was on a bad year from three. He shot 31% from three last season, 45% from the field. If he can listen, he's a career 37% shooter from three. He gets that up. He gets that back up, and we're here. And so clean sweep.
I think we don't even got to talk much about it. Like we all know he's going to win it, or he should be the favorite to win. I should say. Maybe he'll get hurt. Who knows?
Yeah.
But I think we should move on to the standings.
Let's do it.
Okay, so we're gonna go conference by conference. Let's start with East. This is pretty difficult. How we're gonna do it is we're gonna go by blocks of 4 teams. So I feel like we all agree that the bottom 4 teams are Detroit, Charlotte, Orlando, and Indiana?
Yeah.
Yes.
So I don't think the order for the last 4 matters. We're just going to clump them all together as the non-playoff teams that are tanking, still rebuilding. We can do that. So we can go the play-in teams now, 7 through 11. I'll let you know who I got first. At 7, I have, don't kill me, the Atlanta Hawks. Calm down, Mohammed. Just shut up.
Just keep going.
Atlanta Hawks at 7.
Keep going.
Toronto Raptors at 8. New York Knicks at 9. Chicago Bulls at 10. And Washington at 11.
Okay, that's fair. That's I have the same teams. In
what order?
So I have Toronto at 7, Atlanta at 8, Chicago at 9, New York at 10, Washington at 11.
Oh. Mohammed, tell us yours before we get into the arguments.
Okay, so at 7, you're going through 7 through 11, right? Correct?
Yeah.
Yep.
Cool. Okay, so at 7, I have the Brooklyn Nets. At 8, I got the Raptors. At 9, I got the Bulls. 10, I got the Wizards. And then at 11, I think I got... Who do I have at 11?
It could be the Knicks.
So you have the Knicks at 11.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm going to say, yeah.
You nasty bitch. You picked Jalen Brunson to be the most improved player because he takes in the playoffs and you put him at 11? This is why you have to do preparation, you unprepared fuck.
Look, as we've been talking throughout this conversation, bro, I'm just like, I really like the Washington Wizards, and I believe in Bradley Beal and Jordan, but I couldn't put him over Brad. I couldn't put him over the Wizards.
Mute his mic.
Yeah.
Mute his mic.
Okay, so let's start with the Wizards. So I think we all agree the Wizards and Knicks are going to be in the bottom tier, trying to get into that last spot. I have the Bulls at 10, so I think the Knicks are going to be better than the Bulls. I think that actually the Knicks with competent point guard play led by Jalen Brunson, maybe RJ Barrett takes a leap that Knicks fans seem to think he's already taken, but maybe he actually becomes a good two-way player.
Yeah.
Julius Randle can't be worse than he was last year, so he's going to make some sort of positive regression. And Isaiah Hartenstein's a really good pickup. I just see it come together for them to be a very bottom-tier playing team, but be able to be better than expected.
Yes, I think everything that you said is right. I think that Chicago is just going to be a little bit better, but I think that Washington and New York are interchangeable. They're going to be separated by like 1-2 games max.
Yeah. Oh, I should say why I think Chicago is going to fall to 10.
Yes.
I think losing Lonzo Ball sucks, and I don't know if Lonzo Ball is ever going to be healthy this year. I think it's at the point now where his injuries are so nagging that we have to assume that maybe he's just not going to be who we thought he is the whole season.
RIP to his career.
Yeah.
Damn.
But and Vucevic signing didn't look too great. He's a year older. Like DeMar DeRozan had the best season of his career. Maybe it's hard to predict. He does that again at the age of 30 or whatever he is. So
Patrick Williams,
I'm just not high on him.
Patrick Williams, young player. A lot of Bulls fans. I feel like he's really controversial, and I think a lot of Bulls fans, at least this season, are going to come to the realization that he's really not the goods. He's okay, but he's not the goods. The other day, he just got benched in a preseason game. For, what's his name? Javonte Green? I don't know his name. I forgot about his name.
Yeah.
Still my
mind. Yeah, Javonte Green. He's good.
Tough.
He's good.
All right.
So I think the main thing of contention here is that we have Atlanta. I have at 7. Donovan has them at 8. You think Atlanta's top 6. You put the Brooklyn Nets behind Atlanta? I think that's kind of disgusting.
Yeah, the Brooklyn Nets have a Kyrie and KD led team together, both of them. They've given me no reason to go ahead and propel them over a team like the Atlanta Hawks, who have shown, I don't want to say a level of consistency because Trey just got on the scene and things of that nature, but they haven't given me a reason to go ahead and put them above them. Like,
you're talking like the Hawks are the freaking Miami Heat. They were in the play-in last year. They weren't good at all.
I'm not talking about them as Miami. This is more so about the Brooklyn Nets and the dysfunction that lies between their organization, bro. Now, you can go ahead and tell me a story and sell me on potentially like, yo, contract year Kyrie when like he probably could be a different breed, and I understand that completely, and Ben Simmons is gonna fit beautifully alongside all those shooters. You can sell me on that, but at the end of the day, they've given me zero reason to buy in on anything, bro. On anything.
I understand that.
Okay.
Yeah, and I don't have the Nets in the top 3, so like I get it.
Well, it's definitely not safe, but I mean it's understandable. So,
yeah.
Okay.
In the day, it's a one-spot difference for me. I'll give that spoiler alert. So I don't think it's insanely incomprehensible for Atlanta to jump to 6. Like, that wouldn't shock me at all. But I feel comfortable saying that if all things go as according to plan, because we can't assume injuries, dysfunction, and whatnot. If things just go chalk, I'm thinking the Nets are going to be for sure the better team. I just think the offensive ceiling you have with those two lead players, Ben Simmons fits in perfectly as a connective tissue. The team's going to let him thrive in a way he's never been able to because he's had Joel Embiid next to him. I think we're going to see an unlock Ben Simmons on both sides of the court, and I think the ceiling there is too high not to put them top 6.
For sure. All right, let's actually take the next segment. Let's just go 1 through 6. Let's just go playing and then just non-playing.
Yeah. Okay. So I'll start from the back half. We'll lead up to the top.
Let's do that.
Board. The top 3 I'm really not confident about because I think they're all going to be within 1 or 2 games of each other. But the back half I'm pretty confident about. So we have, where is it? Toronto at 8. Wait, what am I looking at?
Wait, so start from 6 and go up.
Sorry. Yeah. We didn't even talk about Toronto, but I think we all agree they're just in that range. That's who they're going to be. Yeah. So at 6, I have the Brooklyn Nets at 6. The Cleveland Cavs at 5, who I wanted to put higher, but kind of just can't.
Okay.
The Miami Heat at 4, out of respect. They're the Miami Heat.
You have to.
The Milwaukee Bucks at 3. The 76ers at 2, and the Celtics at 1. I might flip the top 2, but the only reason is because Robert Williams is hurt, so I think maybe that make them slack off at the beginning of the season. So you can put the 76ers at 1, but I think we saw the Celtics last year, second half of the season. They're Himothy all around the whole roster, top to bottom. And now they have Malcolm Brogdon. They're going to be them.
Okay. All right. Well, you are not. I'm going to go next.
Go ahead.
So I have Brooklyn at 6 as well.
Okay.
I have Boston at 5.
What the fuck?
I have Cleveland at 4. Miami at 3. Philly at 2. And Milwaukee at 1.
Okay. I'm vibing with your Boston pick.
And that's where I have it.
Y'all are insane.
My thing with especially the non-playing teams, I would be shocked if the 1 seed and the 6 seed were separated by anything more than 5 games. I think
for sure. I agree.
I think the East is going to be extremely close. And so when we're talking about 4, 5, and 6, to me, it's kind of just like a crapshoot a little bit because I think it's all just going to end up random. And it's like, oh, well, you lost last year, the 2 through 4 seed all had the same record, and it was just decided by tiebreakers. Mm-hmm. So for me, me putting Boston at 5 isn't necessarily like, oh, they're gonna suck this year. They could be just as good as Philly, but I think that Rob Will's injury in the beginning of the season might put them behind the 8 ball going forward, and they might have to catch up a little bit to where everybody else is at. And obviously, all of these predictions are assuming everybody stays healthy for the year.
Yeah, but see, I'm not assuming that. I picked the Celtics at 1 because I think their depth is so good that they're the team I think can sustain injuries the most. Like you said, they're all so close to each other. I think the Celtics have the best chance of making it through because of all that depth.
Okay,
that's Muhammad, give us your list.
Okay, so I'm not mad at anything that you guys said. Isaac, we're on completely different ends of this. I think that the turmoil that the Celtics felt within the organization is seriously going to hurt them, and also the importance of Robert Williams is they're going to see that. They're going to really see that once he's not on the court anymore. So I have at 6 the Boston Celtics. At 5, I have the Hawks. I have to. At 4,
I will bet you whatever you want that the Celtics are going to have more wins than the Hawks.
Dude,
I would bet you anything that the Celtics are better than the Hawks.
Did you forget how slow the Celtics started last season? Do we all forget?
Did you forget how amazing they finished?
Yeah, they finished amazingly, bro. But I'm just look. They finished amazingly with no turmoil at that time, and also they're pretty much Look, you can argue with
you love mid
on that on another day. I do not love mid, bro. All right.
Okay.
So 6 Boston, 5 Hawks, 4 Cavs, 3 you gotta have the Miami Heat, 2 Bucks, and number 1 I gotta have the Sixers.
Okay.
Any discrepancies?
I think we're all in agreement where each team is. I think we're all also flirting with the 76ers being at the top. I kind of want to put them there. I might flip. You might have convinced me to put the 76ers 1, Celtics 2, but I'm not putting them at a top 3. But I see the vision.
Yeah. As for the Celtics, dude, I just feel so sorry for that organization. They always just have the Celtics and their fans. They've portrayed to me just how inconsistent this team could be, and for the most part throughout this Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown stint that they've had, they've been more inconsistent than not, and they finally got over that hump, I believe. But I also believe that because of all this turmoil that that was felt throughout their organization from head to toe. Like, I don't think that. Now they do have Malcolm Brogdon. I just feel so torn about the Celtics at times, you know?
I don't feel that torn. I don't think the Ime Udoka thing is going to be that big of a deal to them. Like, obviously it sucks not having him there. They have his lead assistant there. They're going to have the same exact system that they found last year in the second half of the year that made them so great. They're going to be playing the exact same style of ball, same players that clearly mesh together and figured out how to win. They're coming off a deep run that shows them they have that confidence that they can make it that far.
They're not going to have the same players, though, because who knows when he's going to come back? 3 months from now, I think?
Or maybe they'll be back by December, which just sucks. But they weren't just like awful without him. Like, he missed time last year too, and they missed time in the playoffs, and they still made it to the finals. Like, they can win without Robert Williams. We're talking about him like it's the Lakers without LeBron. Like, they'll be fine overall. Like, obviously it limits their ceiling. If he wasn't there all year, I would agree. But they can make do without him. They still have Al Horford.
You're so disgusting for that. Yo, get out of here.
We're disrespecting Al Horford after last year. Y'all weren't paying attention. Al Horford was fantastic last year.
No, but I mean that's a legitimate concern of mine that you have an aging Horford. Like, I listen, he was great. I really don't want to disrespect him, but like, we can't just expect everybody to just be LeBron and be, you know, the same that you've been for 20 years. Like, at a certain point, like, people get old and it goes very quickly. So it wouldn't surprise me if we came out in the first 3 months and we're like, dang, like, Al Horford, he's kind of getting up there. Like, you know,
true. I mean, if that happens, then then this is all gone. But I'm gonna assume that he's gonna be the same until he's not. You know what I mean? Like, I can't predict oldness.
Listen, Al Horford will fall off a cliff. No, but that's a concern of mine, and so that's why I wouldn't necessarily have Boston at like the top 3 seed that you have them as.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, but that's okay. It's weird. I expected the East to kind of be a little bit more
divisive.
Yeah, divisive, just because it's so good.
I think we all agree they're also close. So, like, how can you have a super strong opinion about any of them?
True.
Because, like, would you be shocked if the Cavs ended up being the 1 seed? Like, I would.
Actually, no, I would. The 1 seed?
I would not. Like, dude, I think you're saying they're all. If you're saying they're all within the same few games, like, how can you be shocked if any of them are the 1 seed? You know what I mean?
That's true, but it's just crazy.
All I mean.
It's crazy, like, thinking about at the end of the year, you're gonna look up and you're gonna be like, wow, like, the Cleveland Cavaliers were the best team in the East. Like that.
I wouldn't be shocked. They were the 1 seed beginning of last year before they got injured, which they weren't going to sustain.
It would just look weird on paper. True. The side of it would just look weird.
Okay, well, I'm just fuck that shit. You just add what they were doing beginning of last year, add Donovan Mitchell, like, they're gonna be freaking amazing. Like, I wanted to put them higher. I put Miami above them out of respect because they always just find a way to win in the regular season and they're just like a machine.
Yeah.
So they deserve to be above them. I think the Cleveland Cavaliers will for sure be a better team than Miami.
Wow. Okay.
Maybe just won't be reflective of regular season record.
Yeah.
I like that take.
All right.
We can move on to the West. So, same thing. The bottom 4 teams, I think we can all agree: San Antonio, Houston, Utah, OKC.
Yes.
Don't really give a fuck what order you want to put them in. I wrote it down, but who gives a shit? So, if we're going to do 7 through 11 again, we'll start from there. This time, Mohammed, you go first.
Okay, so I'm going to start off from 7. At number 7, I have the Phoenix Suns, man. Yeah, I think they're going to get... I got the Phoenix Suns on that one, bro.
What
I got the Phoenix Suns. Yeah, bro, I got the Phoenix Suns. So, at 7, I have the Phoenix Suns. I'm probably going to hate myself for this, but I have certain propaganda that I'm pushing this season, and I have to put the Memphis Grizzlies at 8. At number 9,
you are bugging.
Yeah, man, I got the Grizzlies at 8.
Okay.
And at 9, I think they're gonna miss Jaren Jackson Jr. hella. I think you might be underestimating that. All right, and at 9, I got the Phoenix Suns. I'm not Phoenix, my bad. The Portland Trail Blazers, and then at 10, I got the Sacramento Kings, and then 11, bro. You can put really anyone. Like, you put the Lakers. Cool. The Lakers. Yeah. Lakers at 11.
You have the Lakers at 11? Oh my God.
Bro. They just started
so our lists are
off of the bench. Okay. They're bad.
Our lists are wildly different. I don't think the Russ coming off the bench thing is a negative in any way. I think that's a positive that they're willing to do that. Now make them a better team. But,
right,
okay.
Isaac,
so
Russ is a naked.
I have the Dallas Mavericks at 7.
Okay.
The Lakers at 8. The Pelicans at 9, which... Wow. I want to put them higher, but there's so many good teams. Like, it's tough. I won't be shocked. That's a team that I won't be shocked if I'm wrong about the most. Like, if they're 4 or 5 or 6, I see it. Because I think 6 through 9 will be really clustered like it is in the East on the top.
Yeah. I feel the same way
10
about the Grizzlies.
Yeah, 10 I have Portland. What is that noise?
Yeah, it's a car. Oh,
shit. Okay. At 10, I have the Trailblazers.
Yeah.
And at 11, I have Sacramento.
Okay.
So
okay.
I don't. Sacramento's just worse than these teams.
Mm.
What about you, Donovan?
All right. So here's what we got. Right. So for 7. Okay, I'm gonna change my list right now.
Damn.
Okay.
So at 7, I have the
I
Minnesota
can't take this seriously
Timberwolves.
at all.
I have the Minnesota
Timberwolves at
Timberwolves at 7.
Oh.
At 8, I have the Phoenix Suns. At
Oh my God, y'all are so wrong about the Suns.
at 9, I have the
You're so
Lakers.
wrong.
At 9, you have what?
At 9, I have the Lakers, and then
Okay.
at 10, I have the Blazers. At 11, I have the Kings.
Okay. Y'all are so wrong about the Suns.
Why
They're not
are
good.
Bro.
Because they had the worst playoff collapse of all time, because they all had fucking COVID, there's a COVID outbreak, that doesn't mean they're going to be a worse team now. They're not going to forget to play basketball to that extent. They're still going to be a regular season powerhouse.
Those are some of the reasons why I feel low about the Phoenix Suns, and I also feel like they stumbled on a lot of success. I like the pieces that they have. I love the pieces that they have, but for someone like DeAndre Ayton, who it looks like he's on better terms with the head coach and everybody on the team or whatever the case may be, but as a whole, I still think that like once that time comes and the stars align, he's gonna get out of there almost as soon as possible.
Maybe,
And I think-
but they also don't have to trade him. Like, if they're just chugging along to a top 3 seed like last year, like, I think then they
I
just
don't
don't
think
trade
they're
him.
going to
Like,
be chugging along. I don't see them being better than any of the top 4 teams.
I don't
or
see any
5
reason.
teams
So
that I
obviously they have a little bit worse depth with Jay Crowder being out of there now, which sucks. We'll see what they're going to get for him. But that's like the only real meaningful difference. They still have Chris Paul. They still have Devin Booker. They still have Mikal Bridges. Cam Johnson's going to be the starter. Gives them more oomph than Jay Crowder gave him. DeAndre Ayton's going to get more of a focus now. Maybe we'll put up better numbers. I don't see any reason for them to be that materially different from the best team in the NBA to the 8th seed. That's such a wild jump.
On paper, there's no real reason to do that. You're absolutely right about that. But when it comes to just in the
They ain't got
locker
that
room
dog in
stuff, that's the main thing.
That's really it.
The main
That's
thing.
really it. I look
Yeah,
at the Suns. I look at the Suns, and there's just so much turmoil. You both talked about the Celtics turmoil from head to toe. The Suns have turmoil from head to toe, and that locker room just seems so afraid. They do not have that dog in them, and I do not like the vibes that are coming out of Phoenix. And I'm
Such an overreaction.
I'm being for real, and so that's why I would have them back in the play-in. I also think that like a lot of these other teams just like are just gonna be better. So
Okay.
yeah,
We'll see about that.
that's where I'm at.
So obviously we all have the Lakers in this range. Do y'all see I see a world where they can get up to like 5. I wouldn't be shocked by that necessarily, or 4.
I would be shocked by 5.
No, not 4, 5 or 6.
I would be
5 or 6
shocked
I
if
could
they
see.
weren't in the play-in. I would be shocked.
Okay. What if they trade Russell Westbrook? Like, what if they do the Indiana
then,
deal and
then,
get Huddy?
then everything changes. If they trade,
for sure.
Russ, everything changes. But as presently
me too.
constructed, even if Russ comes off the bench, which I'm with you, I think that's a positive, and that's something that they need to do. But even if that's the case, I don't see them jumping. I don't see them jumping New Orleans with a healthy Zion. I don't see them jumping Minnesota with all the talent that they have. Dallas, Memphis, you can forget about that. And then obviously the top 3 teams, like I don't care.
I think I'm going to amend my list. I feel really bad about New Orleans at 9. I think I'm going to put New Orleans up to 7, then put Dallas at 8, and Lakers at 9.
He's hating on Dallas. He's
Yeah,
he's not a believer.
There's a lot of good teams. I mean,
Yeah.
I think New Orleans has to be 7. I'm going to change that.
That's something that I think that we've seen in our rankings. Is just like you just feel bad because there's so many good teams. Like, we're through the play-in, and probably like what 18 out of these 20 teams are like, hey, these are really, really good teams. Like it's hard to see them 6 months out.
The fact that Dallas is going to be the 8th seed, like, or even like the Lakers at 9. The Lakers are going to be a competent team if LeBron and AD are healthy. Like, they're not going to be like great, but like they're going to be a solid team. Like, that gives them a high floor. The fact that's probably the 9th best team in the conference is kind of crazy.
However, you also said earlier that you put Boston at the top because they have a roster that can sustain injuries. The Lakers are not that, and so like
which is why they're down here.
Yeah, and so I think that's what I'm saying. Like, you thinking that they can get up to 5, I don't think that that's feasible because AD's going to get hurt.
If they're not injured.
AD, well, I mean, he's getting hurt.
Okay,
he's
well, I mean, sure. He's had 2 badly injured years, but like, let's say he doesn't and he goes back to his normal self and plays 65, 68 games. they could get up to the 6 seed, maybe the 5 if like LeBron's playing MVP level again. Like
this
obviously the jokes, he's glass, whatever. But like
it's just optimism talking. He's gonna get hurt.
Yeah, we're talking about the optimistic outcome. We're talking about the best case scenario where he plays. He still gets hurt because he's AD and he'll still miss 15 games. But the last 2 years have been like the worst case scenario twice in a row, which is like maybe it happens again. It's just who he is, but there's no. I don't know. Like it's only been 2 unfortunate injuries.
Nah, he's out of there. He's not playing. He's not playing 65 games this year.
That's how can you confidently say it? 65 isn't even a high bar. I'm not saying 80. Like, come on.
I don't know. He's not playing. He's not playing.
Anyways, whatever. I don't care. Fuck AD. This isn't the conversation.
80 sucks. Top 6 teams. 80 sucks.
Yeah,
I'm tired of him. He's overrated.
Let's do these top 6 teams. I'll go first. 6, I have the Memphis Grizzlies. I'm not putting them lower than 6. 6 is like the worst end because they're missing Jaren Jackson, maybe some regression, but really it's more about the top 5 teams are fucking great. I think Minnesota will be nearly as good as they were last year. 5, I got the Clippers, who should be higher. They're going to be a higher level of contender, but I think because Kawhi will sit a lot, Paul George will probably sit a lot, they're not going to be quite as high. But also, I won't be shocked if I'm wrong because they have the crazy depth to sustain them in the regular season. But again, I think it's just more about the top 4 teams are going to be really good in the regular season. 4, I have Minnesota. Every Rudy Gobert team is a regular season powerhouse. They surround him with great offensive talent. It's going to work well in the regular season. But I won't be shocked if Clippers are above them. 3, I have Golden State. I don't got to say nothing against Golden State. I kind of want to put them higher. 2, I have Phoenix, who I don't think there's going to be a big difference in the regular season from last year. I think they'll get over the drama and be another powerhouse. 1, I have the Denver Nuggets.
Okay. I'm going to give you my list, and then we'll compare. So I have the Pelicans at 6. I have the Mavericks at 5. I have Memphis at 4, Golden State at 3, Denver at 2, and then the Clippers at 1.
I don't see them playing enough games to get the 1. Their stars.
I like that.
I think if Paul George is there for a majority of the year, and even if Kawhi is in and out, right? Like they won enough games last year to where they could be the 8 seed, and they did have Paul George for a lot of those games. You give them 1.5 stars, I think Ty Lue can coach them up to the 1 seed. And like we've talked about so many times, they are so deep. They have so much depth, and there's so many guys that they can. Norman Powell is going to come off the bench, and we didn't talk about him in the 6th man of the year. But you have a guy who has averaged 20 off the bench. Like they just have so many guys, so I think that they'll be able to withstand them. To withstand a whole bunch of injuries. So that's why I have them at 1.
You took the words out of my mouth. I don't have them at 1, but you took the words out of my mouth. So at 6, I have the Mavs. At 5, I have the T-Wolves. At 4, I have the Pelicans. 3, Warriors, just like you. And 2, I have the Clippers. And number 1, I got the Nuggets.
Okay. That's fair.
I'm glad we all respect the Nuggets. We know they're going to be top 2 in the conference. Like, Nuggets are going to be filthy.
Yeah. And that was honestly one of the hardest picks on here. The 1 and 2, and then the 6 and 7 were the hardest for me. And I like, you know what? I'm gonna switch it. Put the Nuggets at the 1 seed, clean sweep. We're all back the Nuggets to be the 1 seed.
If we all think Nuggets are gonna win the 1 seed, how are we not considering Jokic more for MVP?
Because narratives, people,
Yeah, I know, but like at a certain point, if he's just as good, and now they have the 1 seed, so they show that it's like.
LeBron
James, might be undeniable.
LeBron James never won 3 MVPs. The last person to win 3 MVPs in a row was Larry Bird. Like
LeBron James never deserved 3 MVPs in a row. Jokic might.
Can you just say that?
Is that how you feeling?
Yeah. Go each year. Like what year? When I say that, he's obviously is good enough to win it. I'm not saying that, but we're talking about narrative and we're talking about the things that. Okay, so maybe never mind. I'll change that. He should have won Derrick Rose's MVP, so that should have been a 3-peat. But we're talking about he won 2, and then. No, but I mean, like, so I think realistically what that means when you say that is that the 3rd year came around and they didn't want to pick him. Because if I would predict one before that, that doesn't matter because that's not realistic. But there's never been a time where LeBron won 2 in a row, and the 3rd year he should have won it. You know what I mean? Like, there's always a more deserving candidate that made sense.
Except for, listen, I kind of agree because I want to give Derrick. I'd like to give Derrick Rose that MVP. I know a lot of.
Oh wait, he won 2 before Derrick Rose here, didn't he?
He won.
Never mind. I take it back.
He won 2 Derrick Rose and then 2.
Yeah, I forgot it was the one team. I was thinking there's a year before that. Never mind, I take it back. LeBron should have won 3 in a row.
Yeah. Okay. That's. I was looking at you nuts.
So
bro.
Bird's the last one.
I forgot.
Bird's the last one to win 3 in a row. It hasn't happened in 40 years. They're not gonna if LeBron didn't get it, if Jordan didn't get it after Bird, like it's just I don't think it's going to happen.
But see, with the Derrick Rose year, like LeBron should have won it. He was better. But that was a special circumstance because Derrick Rose was like this enigma. Everybody loved him. He took the team to 1 seed. Like people were like wanting to give him that award because it was such a lovable story. And LeBron was the villain because he went to Miami. So like Jokic isn't the villain. I guess you could say he is to some crowds, but not to NBA voters.
Who the fuck is he a villain to, bro? The fuck?
Yeah, I mean some people that are like, oh, he's overrated. He doesn't have a bag. He's white. He sucks. Like.
He's white, he sucks. Someone, you're telling the truth. No one ever wanted to say that, bro. But let's be real. A lot of people think
exactly what it is.
Let's be real.
But now,
he's not that
when
villain
we talk
factor.
about Jokic, now when we talk about Jokic, because the thing that held Giannis from a third straight MVP was, all right, you have to do it in the playoffs for us to consider you like a great player again. Like that.
But hell, Giannis the MVP is that Jokic burst on the scene, being an all-time level offensive player. Like.
No. Giannis had those 2 MVPs and choked both years, and like he had a bad 2019 in the conference finals, and then they got blown out in the bubble in 2020. And everyone's like, listen, we recognize that you're great, but until you do it in the playoffs, we're not giving you the MVP anymore.
Sure, but what I'm saying is there was a clear reason. Like Jokic was that reason. Like if Giannis was like clearly the best player, it could have went to him still, even though people would have had to stomach that. But Jokic was Jokic, and he clearly deserved it. Like he had a better regular season than Giannis. Maybe if we're saying Luka's going to do that, or if one of you thinks Joel's finally get his turn. But if we're saying that we're all saying they're going to be the 1 seed in a stacked conference, that's going to imply that Jokic is still playing at the level he's going to be playing at. And at that point, there has to be a pretty good argument for it.
It's just not going to happen. It's just not. I think the voter fatigue is just going to be too real.
Voter fatigue only works if there's a more deserving candidate, and we don't know if there's going to be. That's what I'm saying.
I'm telling you, it's not going to happen.
It's not a logical argument.
Like it's just not going. It's not going to
be dead.
It's not going to be a thing. There's going to be 2 guys who are going to be as deserving as Jokic, or at least one in Embiid. And if you have Giannis, who you think is going to be top 3 in DPOY voting, and then is already as well, like if he's as good.
Let's compare him to Embiid. We're all agreeing that the 76ers are going to be a top 3 seed.
Yes.
Let's say they're the 2 seed. And we're all agreeing the Nuggets are the runaway 1 seed. If they're the 1 seed and Jokic is just as good as he was last year, Joel is just as good as he was last year with their 2 seed. The argument for Joel last year was his team was better. They had more wins. Now Jokic is still a better player and has more wins himself. How could you possibly put Joel ahead of him, even though he has an All-NBA teammate?
I'm telling you, that's going to be the situation because obviously everything that I've said on this podcast is going to happen. So the Nuggets are going to be the 1 seed. The Sixers are going to be the 2 seed.
I would guarantee you, if the Nuggets have more wins than the Sixers, Joel would not win the MVP. That is ridiculous.
They are going to give Joel. They're not giving anybody 3 straight MVP. LeBron didn't do it. Jordan didn't do it. It's not happening.
Do you hear yourself? The argument was that Joel had more wins. If he doesn't have more wins, there's no argument for Joel being better than Jokic. I know what you're saying. Even if you're saying that you're right. You're right, but there has to be a deserving candidate that makes sense for them to use the excuse of voter fatigue. You have to have an out that makes sense to be able to say, this is why I didn't pick Jokic. If there's no realistic out that's logical, then it's kind of hard to not pick Jokic.
No, but I'm saying, you're saying that and here's the difference. You're saying that
I'm saying Joel Embiid is not a logical. If you think that the Nuggets have more wins, you can't pick Jokic. You can't pick Embiid.
No, that's not what I'm saying. And actually, maybe it is. That's not what I'm going to address. What I am going to say is that voter fatigue isn't something that happens on the back end. It happens on the front end. And so because people have voter fatigue, it affects the way that they look at the entire season. And so Jokic's entire season is going to be looked at differently because he has 2 MVPs already. And so we're going to be looking for a reason not to give it to Jokic. We're going to be looking for a reason.
I agree.
Not to,
but you have to have that reason.
Else. They're already going to be looking to if the voters want to give Joel Embiid the MVP, he will get the MVP, and whatever narrative is needed will be constructed to give him.
You're talking about this like it's not that. No, come on. We can track everything that has been a narrative pick. It still makes sense because people point to a reason logically on the court. Maybe they twist it whichever way they want to interpret it, but there's still the way to twist it. And I'm only saying, so if you want to say Luka's going to win it, sure. I'm just saying that if you're going to predict the Nuggets being won and the 76ers not being won, he's not going to win it. It'll be Luka if you really think somebody has to win it besides Jokic.
I'm trying to pull this up. Let me pull something. I need to see this.
Y'all are going at it, bro. Oh my goodness. This is a feisty episode, and we're not even talking to it. Y'all are going to the death of this.
It is. It is.
I mean, you can't. It's only because of the context of last year. If that was the argument last year, and that's why you think Joel should have won it, you can't flip it. Like otherwise, it just would not make sense at all. So again, maybe it just means that Luka's gonna win. That's the case, and sure. But Jokic, with these things we're mapping out, with Jokic being 1 seed, Joel cannot win it.
This 1v1 is.
It will still happen. It will still happen. I'm letting you know it's going to happen. Yeah. It's going to happen.
Then
everything that you're saying is not wrong, Isaac. Everything you're saying is not wrong. I just think that it's just one of those it is what it is situations, bro. Joel is gonna have it at the end of the season.
They're not gonna, and also you're talking about like the 1 seed and the 2 seed. One, we're gonna look at the Eastern Conference and say the Eastern Conference, the East top 6 is better than the West top 6. So a 2 seed in the East.
I don't know if that's true. I mean, it's maybe a little bit, but like it's pretty good at the top.
I think it's true in the East, and I think
it goes like 6 deep in the East and 4 deep in the West. But like the top 3 or 4 are pretty similar.
I believe that it's that. You have a whole conference that you have to play with throughout the entire season. So that's one. 2 is that I think that if we're saying one's the 1 seed and one is the 2 seed, I think that is splitting hairs, and you can
kind of splitting hairs last year,
and
that's why some people pick Joel. That's why Joel got first place votes, is because he had a few more wins than the Nuggets. Like it's always been splitting hairs, but that's what they do.
I'm saying if that's the
Isaac just did it. I mean, Donovan just did it. Like,
no, because if you are splitting hairs on the wins, right, then that is where I'm saying the voter fatigue that came in at the start of the season, where you're like, we have like Jokic, he has 2, we have to give it to Joel, and then the baseline of, hey, we're gonna go and we're gonna go off the wins, and that's like 1 and 2, that's gonna be out of there. So now the only thing that's left is, we just really want to give it to Joel, and he's going to get.
What I think you're saying is you're making it sound like no voter is gonna explicitly say that I want to give it to Joel because Jokic has 2. What we're describing of Jokic not being able to win 3 in a row is an implicit thing that's behind the scenes that they're alluding to. They're finding reasons to mental gymnastics it. No one's actually going to say, I don't think Jokic should win it. And you're making it sound like it's way more fun.
Obviously not on wax, but we've seen 40 years of history of guys not getting 3 in a row.
Okay, either way, we can move on.
That needs to be a video within itself. I'm sorry. That right there, y'all went on for a minute. I need that as a video.
Okay. Well, we have some TikToks to get to before we wrap up the episode, so I think we should get to that.
Let's go. Let's do that.
That's funny. Donovan, you want to do the first one?
Yeah.
The BR list?
Let's get this. All right.
So as you guys know, Bleacher Report put out a top 100 players they're projecting for next year. We're going to react to those names.
Yeah. All right. Let's start the... I'm going to get into my Isaac bag. I'm going to try to get my TikTok cook on. You know what I'm saying? All right. So I'm going to give you guys a couple players. You tell me where you think Bleacher Report ranked them in their list. LeBron James.
The top 100 list.
Oh, yeah. All right. I'll start. Okay. I got you. You ready? All right.
Go ahead and just talk.
Cool. So damn. So I'm going to list off some players, and you tell me... Damn it, Mo. Don't laugh. Don't laugh, Mo.
Sorry.
Don't laugh. I'm trying to be serious. Trying to get into character. All right. So I'm going to give you guys some players, and you tell me where you think Bleacher Report ranked them in their top 100 list. LeBron James.
They
definitely didn't put him top 3. 8.
Yeah, they didn't put him top 8. I think that's safe. I'm going to go ahead and say 6.
Mo, you are correct. He is number 6 on the list.
Swear to God, I ain't looking.
Good. I'm glad he's higher. He should still be top 4. I'm going to go ahead and say that.
All right, for sure.
Our guy that we talked about last time, Jaylen Brown.
Okay.
This is funny.
This is hard.
I feel like
they're probably really high on Jaylen Brown.
Yeah. I'm going to say 17.
I bet they put him somewhere like... I was going to say 18.
Mo, where are you going?
17.
19 for Jaylen Brown.
Okay.
Damn. Okay.
A little high
just
for
like me.
But...
Yeah, I like that.
Okay. Next, Ja Morant.
Ooh.
They probably put him stupid high.
Yeah, they probably
put him above. They didn't put him above LeBron. Surely not. I'm gonna go 8. They probably put him at 8.
I was just about to say the same thing, but I can't say the same thing, so I'm gonna say 9.
They put Ja Morant at number 10.
Okay.
Top 10 in the
game.
I'd
probably put him like 12 or 13.
Okay.
Yeah, it's not terrible.
All right, next player, Jason Tatum.
He's probably 5.
Did they put him at 5? Did they put him above LeBron? I think they might have.
They probably do that.
You guys are being real generous. Jason Tatum is at 7.
Wow.
Okay, that was my second guess. Makes sense.
Okay.
I'm glad they put him behind LeBron.
Yeah.
People putting Tatum over LeBron already is wild.
Yeah.
All right, next guy. We got Anthony Davis.
Oh, they
Ooh,
probably
I say
put him lowest. They
14.
probably put him like 14.
Damn.
Anthony Davis, Anthony Davis is ranked the number 17th best player in the NBA.
Whoa.
That's fucking stupid.
17
He's hurt,
is
not washed. Like, what are we doing?
Number 17 for Anthony Davis. All right, next one on
That's
the
ridiculous.
list. Damian Lillard.
13.
15.
I would say.
15. I bet they're doing way too low on him because he was hurt.
All right, we're going to split the difference. He is 14.
Okay.
14 on the
I like
list.
that. That's
He should be number 10. He should be much higher.
All right, Donovan Mitchell.
Donovan Mitchell's a hard one.
Yeah. Did they put
Jaylen Brown
Jaylen
was
Brown above
7.
Donovan Mitchell?
Yeah. Ugh.
20. 20. They put him too low.
I'm gonna say 19.
Change your pick because they put Jaylen Brown at 19.
Yeah, they put Jaylen Brown at 19. So I have to say they might put him at 18 or something like that.
They put Donovan Mitchell at 21.
Okay.
Okay. I think Donovan Mitchell's
don't-
better than Jaylen Brown.
Yeah, for sure. I agree with you with that one. I'm high on Jaylen Brown, but I'm not
Yeah.
literally that high on him.
All right. All right, last guy. Zion Williamson.
Oh, this is tough.
I don't know what they did with him, given the fact that he didn't play last year.
Yeah. super
23?
tough.
23, I guess?
24 sounds fair.
Zion is 22 on the list.
Damn. We're real close on all of these.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Okay.
that's all the names I have for you guys.
That's fire.
I'm very confident that at the end of the year, everybody's going to rank Zion Williamson above Jaylen Brown.
Oh, 100%. 100%.
Yeah, absolutely.
Top
They have
three.
Jaylen Brown gassed. That's crazy.
The top three on the list was Giannis was 1, Jokic was 2, Luka Doncic was 3.
A little rich for my blood on Luka. I don't know if he's better than Steph, but what are you going to do?
Yep. And then the top 5 rounds out with Steph at 4 and KD at 5.
I don't
Okay.
think KD's better than LeBron. People hold people back so much because they got injured, but that doesn't mean they're worse at basketball. Like, I'll die on this hill, I guess.
I
We got one more TikTok. You
Yeah.
got it, Muhammad?
Okay, cool. Yeah, one more TikTok. Let's go ahead and run it. I like that one. That one's gonna go crazy, by the way. All right, so
We're all getting
Takes a
into the
lot
bag.
of
I got you. I got you.
yeah, takes a lot of pressure. I'm gonna list some NBA players, and I want you guys to grade the careers so far. Damn, that was beautiful.
What? Just talk normally. Why do y'all do this?
Fuck up. That was fine. That's not normal.
Nah, that
So
was, that's
far.
cool. That was cool. It was very like
Yeah.
news anchorish, but like
yeah,
it
that's
was
what he
good.
does.
It's like so far.
Okay. All right, hold on.
Okay.
I'm gonna list some NBA players, and I want y'all to wait. I said rank. I was gonna.
I
say
want y'all to
rank
give them a
them.
grade for something
Yeah.
like that.
I'm gonna rank some NBA. Okay. I'm gonna give you guys some NBA players, and I want you to grade their careers so far.
Okay.
Very
Let's go
interested
ahead
in
and do
this
it.
concept.
So-
I like this a lot.
First player, D'Angelo Russell.
Ooh.
I'll give him about a B minus.
Yeah, I think I agree. B minus. He didn't meet the expectations of a number 2 pick, but he's built out a pretty good career for himself and is going to impact winning this year with the
Made an
Timberwolves.
all-star. Yeah, made an all-star team. All that good stuff. He probably could play a pivotal role on the Minnesota Timberwolves, and who knows? They could. I don't think it would surprise anyone if they were as good as a number 2 seed in the Western Conference.
I mean, it was supposed
Yeah.
to be.
Best case scenario.
He's a good high level player that isn't an all star, but is still above an average role player. So I think that's
Yeah.
solid.
He was the best player on a fun Brooklyn Nets playoff team. Like, yeah, very good
Yeah.
career.
Exactly. What about his teammate, Karl Anthony Towns?
B
You know,
plus.
C plus. Honestly, I think he's kind of
C.
he's underperformed for he's underperformed for the expectations he has for being that talented.
I'll
The
give
fact that he's not a competent defender at that with the athletic gifts he has is not malpractice, but it's unacceptable.
I'll give him a B plus just because I think the
You're being so generous. You do
Yeah,
not
that's
believe
so
this.
nice. He
No,
did nothing in squared to deserve a B plus.
listen, I think that cat, and although I hate whenever he says it, he has he's on the short list of like the best, shooting big men of all time. And so I think that like the talent is definitely
not in the playoffs. He's not.
No, listen, who you telling, right? But like the
that
talent,
matters for a player his caliber.
The talent is there. He's put up some numbers. He's made some all-stars. Like it's a pretty decent career.
He should have much more than a decent career though for how good he is.
For Cat should be A-. He should be there. I guess I could drop down to B, but it feels okay. I'll do that. I'll drop it down to B, and I'll say that his career's been marginally better considering the expectations.
He can't break into the B's for me.
Yeah, I ain't gonna lie. I veered towards yours. Did you give him a C+, Isaac?
Yeah.
Yeah, I give him a C+ as well. Good career, solid, but you know what I'm saying? A lot of people, I feel like almost everyone had. I remember back in 2018, or maybe it was 2019 or 2020.
The GM survey?
Yeah, that GM survey, people ranked him as like the best player, or he was viewed as like the best player.
They picked him as a player you'd want to build around the most of any player in the league.
Yeah.
Exactly. And for him to go ahead and continuously go outside, sat in the playoffs, and now he's not looked at as being the man in Minnesota. They moved on to Anthony Edwards, and now if Minnesota does elevate, it's not going to be because of Karl Anthony Towns. It's going to be because of the new guy that they're like.
Yeah,
he just been taking back seats lately. So I agree with you guys on that one. All right. So what about Ben Simmons?
I'll say a C- for Ben Simmons. I'll say C because Ben Simmons has reached like the height in terms of like making an All NBA team, as like all NBA defense. However, if Ben Simmons' career ended today, it would end in shame, and
that's a horrible way to frame it, though. It's not going to end today.
It would.
It's not going to end today, though.
The lasting image of Ben Simmons' career would be him passing up a dunk over Trae Young him blowing a lead. And then 2 years later, the first time we see him back on the court or shooting the ball, he's shooting an air ball out of practice. And I'm not saying that matters a lot, but I'm saying that the perception of Ben Simmons,
it doesn't matter at all.
The perception of Ben Simmons is one that is it's very, very negative. And I think that there's heights that Ben Simmons has not reached because of his unwillingness to learn how to shoot or to even take the jumper, even attempt it.
I'm gonna go B. I think maybe you could say if he got better on offense and was more assertive, he has potential to be like a top tier player. But he's an all-star level player, all defense level, who's been contributing to winning. Sure, he had a year where he struggled with his physical and mental health. I'm not gonna pretend that just invalidates his whole career. Like, people have short-term memory loss.
Can't be mad at you with that one. You said B. I'm gonna go ahead and be a little step lower than that. I'm gonna give him a B minus because people like me, don't forget a couple years ago when he first got drafted, people were calling this man like the next Magic Johnson, and they were throwing those LeBron James comparisons out there, bro.
And look at him now.
Yeah, look at him now.
He's nowhere close to Magic.
Well, that was unrealistic expectations. You shouldn't call anybody. That should tell you shouldn't call anybody the next Magic Johnson.
No, with what he was doing back in high school, in his high school days, and in college, and bro, I don't want to say that those were warranted, but I wouldn't say those people are absolutely insane for that. For the type of
no, they were insane for calling Magic Johnson. Calling anybody Magic Johnson before they hit the NBA is insane. Come on, what are we doing here?
Next player is Lonzo Ball.
D+.
Tough, really tough.
D+. Right? It's just it's injury after injury. He hasn't been able to find a home, and the hype. Like, again, we talk about calling people the next Magic Johnson. Magic Johnson said that he was going to retire Lonzo Ball's jersey before he ever played a game, and he was out of there within 2.5 years. So I'm gonna say D+.
It can't be anything higher than D because we're talking about him now. Last year we were like, oh, he finally figured it out because he was a high level role player. Like, originally we thought he was gonna be a star, and that's just completely off. Just that expectation isn't even around anymore.
Yeah, exactly, bro. Yeah, I get really sad talking about Lonzo Ball, bro. Simply because he used to be quote unquote the one, and now he's like no one's 1, 2, or 3. He's just like nothing now, and bro. I want to give him a C+ though. C+ because he's not a lost cause.
I mean, he might be.
But it's not his fault. It's not his fault.
His knee is falling off the bone.
Yeah. It's not his fault.
Who's next?
But that's all that I have for now. I think this series is going to go stupid, and I want to save other names for another day.
All right, cool.
Okay. Well, I think we're done then. This is a long ass episode. We had a lot to talk about. Got a couple of debates in there. It was a good episode. So if y'all are still around here, salute to you. This is a long ass podcast. I appreciate you. If you are, be sure to like and subscribe. If you're listening on Spotify, rate us 5 stars. Follow us on our socials. You'll see them on the screen right now. And yeah, we'll see you next time.